Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're breaking down a comprehensive, highly actionable guide to tackling Canada's absolute largest city for the first time. Seriously, if you want to see the absolute best of Toronto without wasting your precious time or, draining your wallet, you are in exactly the right place. Let's get right into it.
So how exactly do you tackle a massive, skyscraper-filled metropolis without losing your mind? Well, planning a trip like this can definitely feel overwhelming at first. There are just so many attractions spread out across all these different districts. But here's the secret. It doesn't have to be stressful if you just group things geographically, and that's exactly what we're going to show you how to do today. Okay, here is our blueprint for this explainer. We're going to start with the iconic Toronto must-sees, move into the culture, history, and neighborhoods, jump to the Niagara Falls day trip, cover getting around and saving money, and finally, wrap it all up into your ultimate Toronto itinerary.
All right, let's kick things off with Section 1, Iconic Toronto Must-Sees. 346 meters. That is the jaw-dropping height of the CN Tower's main observation level. This is literally Toronto's signature landmark, and it gives you these incredible, sweeping views over downtown and Lake Ontario. Now, general adult admission will run you about 47 Canadian dollars before tax. But here is a massive pro tip for you. Book your ticket for the late afternoon. If you time it right, you catch the city in broad daylight, watch a totally spectacular sunset, and then see the entire grid light up at night. You probably want to spend a solid hour and a half to 2 hours up there taking it all in.
But hey, you definitely don't have to spend money everywhere in Toronto to get a great view. Right after you hit the CN Tower, you can step away from all that concrete and head straight down to the Harbourfront. It's completely free to just take a relaxing walk along the water, watch the boats go by, and enjoy the parks. It's actually a really vital reminder that there's this serene, natural side to the city right at the edge of the dense urban core.
And speaking of nature, if the weather is clear, you simply cannot skip the Toronto Islands. Seriously, you take this short, incredibly scenic ferry ride from the Jack Layton Terminal, and you leave the concrete jungle entirely behind for this quiet, lush park environment. Plus, it gives you arguably the absolute best view looking back at the Toronto skyline. But please remember this crucial detail: buy your ferry tickets online in advance. During those busy summer months, online ticket holders get to use an express line, which will save you a massive headache. Plan to kick back and spend a good 3 to 5 hours soaking it all in.
Moving right along to Section 2, Culture, History, and Neighborhoods. Okay, so here is that geographic grouping technique in action. You'll definitely want to pair the St. Lawrence Market with the Distillery District because they're a super easy walk from each other. Start your morning at St. Lawrence. It's this historic public market where you absolutely need to grab one of their famous pea-meal bacon sandwiches. Just a heads up though, the South Market is closed on Mondays, so definitely plan around that. After you grab a bite, take a stroll over to the Distillery District. You're not going here for like a specific ride or museum, you're really just going for the vibe. It is this stunning, pedestrian-only area packed with historic industrial brick buildings, galleries, and cafes. It's incredibly photogenic, especially as the evening sets in.
Now, for your downtown and history fix, you've got some fantastic options depending on what the weather's doing. You can take a quick 30 to 60 minutes to snap a photo at the iconic and totally free Toronto sign at Nathan Phillips Square, or, hit the Eaton Center for some major shopping. But if you end up facing a rainy, excessively hot, or freezing cold day, head over to the Royal Ontario Museum, or the ROM. It houses a staggering 18 million artifacts. Alternatively, you could check out Casa Loma. It's an actual European-style castle sitting right in the middle of the city, and admission for that runs about 45 Canadian dollars.
To really get a feel for the city's true character, though, you need to experience the contrast of its different neighborhoods. Right next to the ROM, you'll find Yorkville. This area is very upscale. Think luxury cars, designer shopping, and high-end cafes. But contrast that with Kensington Market and nearby Chinatown. Kensington isn't about shiny landmarks at all. It's heavily multicultural, packed with vintage stores, incredible street art, and unique independent spots. It feels like a completely different world compared to the towering Bay Street skyscrapers you'll see in the financial district, which, by the way, is fantastic just for wandering around.
All right, let's shift gears to Section 3, the Niagara Falls day trip. Even though it's well outside the city limits, international tourists heavily use Toronto as their home base to see the Canadian side of Niagara Falls. And listen, the biggest mistake you can make is trying to squeeze this into a half day right alongside your downtown sightseeing. You absolutely must commit one full, dedicated day on your itinerary to travel to the falls, really take in the sights, and get back without rushing the whole experience.
Now for the practical stuff. Section 4, Getting Around and Saving.
The TTC transit system can honestly be a major point of confusion for tourists. While it is super easy to just tap your phone or credit card to pay the $3.30 adult fare, there's a little catch. The good news is, as a tourist, you don't need to hunt down a special Presto transit card. You can literally just tap your physical credit card or the mobile wallet on your phone. But here is the absolutely critical rule. If you tap your phone's Apple Pay to get on the subway, you must tap that exact same phone when you transfer to a streetcar to get your automatic, free 2-hour transfer. If you switch from your phone to, say, a physical Visa card, the system is going to charge you a second time, so keep it consistent.
When it comes to booking your hotel, you really want to prioritize location over minor savings. Look for places around downtown, Union Station, the Entertainment District, or Yorkville, ideally somewhere right near a subway station. Staying out in a distant suburb just to save $30 or $50 a night is absolutely a trap. Trust me, it is not worth spending 2 hours of your precious vacation time commuting every single day. Stay central.
And you know, when you map it all out, you can actually build a phenomenal trip largely out of completely free experiences. Just exploring the multicultural heart of Kensington Market, soaking in the architecture over at the Distillery District, or walking the Harbourfront won't cost you a single penny. Using this strategy leaves plenty of room in your budget for the heavy hitters that do require tickets, like the CN Tower, Casa Loma, or the ROM.
Now take a look at this number, $134.96 plus tax. That is the current cost of an adult Toronto City Pass, which bundles the CN Tower, the aquarium, and 3 other attractions together. But listen closely here. Do not just buy this blindly, assuming it's a great deal. You need to sit down and calculate the individual admission costs of the paid attractions you genuinely plan to visit. Because if you only want to see the CN Tower and literally nothing else on the list, the pass is actually going to lose you money. Always do the math first.
And finally, bringing it all together with Section 5, your ultimate Toronto itinerary.
When you synthesize all of this information, a nicely structured 5-day plan completely prevents you from zigzagging endlessly across the city. Day 1 groups all the waterfront icons. You've got the CN Tower, the aquarium, the Harbourfront, and a ferry ride to the Toronto Islands. Day 2 is your historic and downtown walking tour, neatly connecting St. Lawrence Market to the Distillery District, the Financial District, and Nathan Phillips Square. Day 3 is all about culture, pairing Casa Loma and the ROM with the vibrant, busy streets of Yorkville, Kensington, and Chinatown. Day 4 is entirely blocked off for that epic Niagara Falls day trip. And Day 5, that's your flexible buffer day for shopping, hitting the zoo, or just making up for anything that got rained out earlier in the week. Sticking to this structure maximizes your time and your budget completely.
Because you don't even need a car to see the best of this city, and with the TTC connecting everything so seamlessly, you have total freedom to shape this trip however you want. So, knowing all of this, which side of Toronto's incredible multicultural landscape are you most excited to explore first? Are you heading straight for the towering heights of the CN Tower, or getting lost in the vintage streets of Kensington Market? Let that excitement guide your planning. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and happy travels.